Hello everyone and welcome to GemasGamesNGear. Today I'll be doing an unboxing of the ASUS Maximus V Extreme. After being in motherboard limbo for weeks, Newegg finally got everything sorted out and I have an unboxing here for you. First off, this is a Z77 revision of the Maximus 4, so it has a lot of the same features, but it adds some new stuff to the table. It's extended ATX, which means it's about an inch or so wider than your standard board. If you have a large mid-tower that supports standard ATX, you have a chance of fitting this board because they use the same standoffs. Just don't be surprised if it overlaps your cable management holes a little. I'm really excited to open this up, so let's get to it. Okay, let's get this started. This board. Gentle as that. Here's the accessories. Have a look. There it is. So let's take a trip around the board and see if I can cover everything about it. First, let's talk about what you most likely noticed first, this red ROG logo in the center. I believe it's called the ROG-I. Unlike the Formula, it doesn't light up. Next, moving up to the socket, it's made for 3rd generation Intel Core processors, aka Ivy Bridge. However, it's still 1155, so it will support Sandy Bridge. Next, we see a heatsink, very beefy. Unlike the Formula, it is not water cooled. This would also be a good time to talk about Extreme Digi Plus, which is ASUS's digital power delivery system. It runs on 8 phases, which is lower than other boards, but since they're using high-quality Japanese capacitors, ASUS claims this increases stability. Next, we see a CPU fan, a CPU 8-pin connector, and then an additional 4-pin connector, which is for added stability during overclocking. Next, moving over here, we have the CPU fan head connectors. Getting ahead of myself. There's a total of 8 fan connectors, and these are running on Fan Expert 2, which is like having a fan controller right on your motherboard. Next, we have 4 DIMM slots, and they have a total capacity of 32 gigabytes, or it supports 32 gigabytes, and the standard speed is 1600 megahertz, but you can go up to 2800 megahertz according to ASUS, but I imagine you can probably go further than that. Next, we have a debug LED, which if something goes wrong during your post, it'll give you a code, and you can look in your motherboard manual, and it'll tell you what the problem is. Next, we have a start and reset button, which is good if you have it on a test bench. And then we have the VGA hot wire on the right, and if you have a supporting graphics card, you can solder wires that'll tell you the power and other things about the graphics card. So that's kind of handy to have during overclocking. And then these little switches here, if you can see them, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's your PCIe slot controller. You can switch different slots on and off to help it. Instead of having all of them run at like 8x, you can have it so that way just the 1st and 3rd slot are running at 16x, so that way you have less latency. Or you can switch off all 3 slots and then you have like 0 latency if you're just running one card. It's a really handy thing to have. And then you have your 24-pin connector, USB 3.0 header, and then we have 6 SATA 3 6 gigabit per second in red and 2 3 gigabit per seconds in black. And then we have your front your case connectors, USB 3.0, 2 USB 2.0s, HD audio, eSATA connector, and then we get to the PCI slots. Like I mentioned before, it's PCI generation 3.0, and they're all 16x slots, so you can control them. I think they all run at 8x if you have them all plugged in. And I believe you can switch it so that way it's running at 16x and 16x0, or any variation of that. And then we have an additional 6-pin connector here, and that's for added stability when you're running SLI, Crossfire, and I believe also during overclocking. And then we get to the rear I/O. Alright, here's the rear I/O. Here is Thunderbolt port, which it gives you 10 gigabit bandwidth. You can daisy chain multiple hard drive devices together and end with a DisplayPort monitor. Next, we have a spot for the MPCI card that comes with it. That's a Wi-Fi Go module. It allows you, gives you Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and it also allows you to control like your mouse and keyboard with your smartphone. So that's kind of cool. Next, we have a clear CMOS, and then we have ROG Connect. ROG Connect allows you to connect via USB cable in that white port next to it on the right to a laptop or other computer, and lets you do overclocking with that other computer. Next, we have 4 USB 2.0 ports, with the bottom one, as I said before, doubling as the ROG Connect. Next, we have Intel Gigabit Ethernet LAN, and then below that is 2 USB 3.0 ports, and there's 2 more on the right underneath the PS2 combo port. Next, we have an HDMI and a DisplayPort out. Now, I'm not sure what the one above it is. It might be like an SPDIF thing. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. And then we have 7.1 audio. This one doesn't come with Supreme FX, unlike the Formula. And then we have an SPDIF out. I know it's SPDIF. And let's do the accessories. We have rear I/O shield. Comes in black. There's also a tagger on the back too. Kind of interesting. And then we have some cable identifiers, some stickers, motherboard manual, OC key, which you can plug into your video card and allows you to overclock your video card. A couple of antennas for the Wi-Fi Go module, which is the dual Wi-Fi Bluetooth combo card that goes into the mini PCI slot. Wish these would have been black, but they are magnetic, so you can stick them to your case, which makes them easy to get out of the way. We have another part of the OC key, a couple of SLI bridges. These are both dual bridges. Yep. Q connector. This plugs into the motherboard. You put your front panel connectors into here, like your power on and reset, and then you plug this in your motherboard. It makes it easier to manage. A rear bracket for USB 2. I'm not sure what's on the left there. Oh, eSATA, looks like. So, rear bracket for that. A couple more SATA cords here. Comes with a total of 8 SATA cords. USB port for ROG Connect. These go to the Wi-Fi Go module. Here's the actual Wi-Fi Go module. A 3-way SLI bridge and a 4-way SLI bridge. So yeah, that covers all the accessories. Finally, I'd like to conclude by highlighting some of the extra features that comes with this board. You get Lucid Virtue MVP, AS Suite 2, and you also get CPU Level Up, which is like one push CPU overclocking. It's not going to be as good as overclocking it yourself, but it will give you a mild overclock if you're new to overclocking and you just want to get started. Thanks for watching this unboxing of the Maximus V Extreme here on G&G. I've got a computer build. See you next time. This is Gemma logging off.